Okay, so another episode of Combustible Brains. Today we are talking about electric cars and inevitably Elon Musk. Ra, hello, how are you?
Hey man, what's up?
Doing good, life's good. So, first of all, shout out to our listeners, all three of them. We want to name some of them. Kyle from Michigan. Hello, Kyle. I'm speaking directly to you. You are awesome. Tell all your friends. And everybody else that wanted to remain unnamed or anonymous, shout out to all of you as well. Okay, so let's just dig into it. Electric cars are the future, so why not we just start there? Ra, are you getting an electric car anytime soon?
Not in India anytime soon because it's gonna take a lot of infrastructure and a lot of other things, man, in order for it to be something that won't have range anxiety.
Yeah, that's true. So having recently switched, I want to just flex here that I just bought a Tesla recently.
Oh, yeah,
right,
you
right,
should.
Right. So Tesla flex, everybody. It seems that the moment you buy a Tesla, you have to flex about it because otherwise there is no point in buying a Tesla. So I'm just doing my Tesla flex here. But jokes apart, I had the same kind of issue for the last few years. Wanted an electric car, but had huge concerns about range anxiety, right? This is a big topic. But in the last few years, in the US at least, the charging infrastructure has improved greatly. So I'm really happy with the way things work. I charge at work. I don't even charge at home. I charge at work and then I use superchargers. So I'm assuming...
You get free charging, right?
Yeah, one of the perks of working
Why
at
not?
an automotive company is that they have started to encourage free charging for EVs. So free charging, can't beat that really.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think we have to thank Elon Musk for, sparking the EV revolution. Because do you remember the time when electric cars were they looked terrible, they looked like bugs, they reminded you of like Toyota Prius. God, it was a terrible time to be in an electric car.
It was horrible, man. It was genuine. Like for someone like us who are automotive enthusiasts, electric cars was something that you should not be named kind of thing.
Right.
No one wanted to talk about it. No one said they were cool. It was hideous. And of course, like any technology, it was just at its start, right? So can't expect also, but I think Elon is the one who was like, okay, we need to take this concept and take it all the way, be serious about it. And he did not have any fallbacks, right, to internal combustion engines, unlike other manufacturers.
Yeah, but see, the thing
And I think
is,
that helped him.
no, for sure it helped him. But what I don't realize is why were electric cars so ugly all this time? They looked absolutely atrocious. You did not want to be seen in one. Like if you wanted to be the most uncool person on the block, you were in an electric car. But I'm glad that situation has now changed.
I think the eco warriors used it, right, back in the
Correct.
day.
Oh, that's
like
a good
when
point.
you wanted to make a statement, like say you're a businessman who has a huge carbon footprint, but then you wanted to show your colleagues and all the people in your circle that look how much you care about environment.
Exactly.
That is the type of people who used to use EV, I guess.
Correct.
I mean, I'm generalizing it too much, but
No, I think you're right. I think that's exactly the market that was EVs, and now it's becoming cool, right? So you remember like when we were growing up, cars that were cool to us were like muscle cars, right? Muscle cars, or that E63 AMG from Top Gear. We always remember that car. Amazing
Dude, that
cars.
car. It just sounds so wicked, man. I mean, holy shit.
It's amazing. And then do you remember the Ferrari 458? An incredible machine. There was a amazing top
9,000 RPM, right? Remember Jeremy Clarkson's
Oh, yeah.
video where he's like, it goes to 9,000 RPM. He's like shouting.
Oh yeah, and he was drifting all over it. That was cool.
Incredible.
Right. So when we were teenagers, right, that's what we wanted. We wanted a Ferrari 458. We did not want an electric Prius or some nonsense like that. Like that simply was not the criteria. But things change. Now I see that the new age kids, kids that are now 18, 19, they want Teslas. They don't even care about Ferraris or E63 AMGs anymore. Nobody cares about these cars. Or a Lamborghini. How did we forget Lamborghini? So, yeah.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
I think so they have basically captured the imagination of kids, and it has from a kid's point of view, if you remember, maybe not like 18-year-olds, but maybe younger than that, they have not driven cars, right?
True.
So for them, it is all about how it looks and how it makes them feel and all of that. And for the kids today, I'm assuming like the huge screen in the middle and the the overall interiors and the exteriors and the coolness factor overall of Elon Musk and EV and all of that. I think that must be like a bedroom poster thing, or
Oh yeah.
is it more of a sensible thing?
No. It's definitely a bedroom poster thing. So I was at the Tesla showroom, or whatever they call the showroom. They don't have showrooms technically, but
Dude, you should tell about that experience, man.
Yeah.
That is...
I mean, yeah, we can get into that. But before we get into that, there was a kid there, okay? And they have these fake superchargers placed in that Tesla showroom. So, the supercharger is just basically a box with a wire sticking out of it. Doesn't, absolutely nothing exciting there. And this is a fake supercharger, so it's not like you can even use it. But this little girl, she must be like, I don't know, 5-6 years old, maybe a little older than that. She was asking her mom for a picture with the supercharger. So she was standing in the middle of the supercharger, holding the charging cable, and it said Tesla on it. And she wanted a picture, and she bothered her mom until the picture was perfect. So I was very shocked by that, just looking at that. And then, of course, she wanted to sit in the car.
That's crazy.
Right. And then she wanted to play video games on that Tesla. In your car, you can play video games in a Tesla. So she wanted to play video games. So, it's a whole different market now. It's a whole different kind of lifestyle, like appeal that these kids will have. So pretty crazy.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And it gets them excited, right? Like no E63 AMG is going to make them excited like this. So
I think we were the last generation, right, who would actually relate to, like, even today, like even after owning maybe an electric car and all of that, those cars will still have a different place, a special place. They might not be technically superior cars in drag strip or something like that, but for us those will still have a place. Like we will still appreciate the muscle car sound, or the V8 sound, the E63 AMG sound, all of that is, dude, just oh my god. And I particularly am a huge sucker for engine sounds and engine noises and exhaust sounds, and dude, it is crazy, man.
Yeah, the thing about those things is they're all hard, right? Like it doesn't matter how fast they go, or what the range is. It doesn't matter. It's all hard. So it's the experience of speed, which is totally different in those cars.
And you know what it reminds me? I just thought of an example. So it's like mechanical watches, right? So the mechanical watch, even like a really expensive mechanical watch, it might have like less precision than maybe your run-of-the-mill Casio, okay,
True.
A quartz Casio watch, but it's about the feel, right? It's about that mechanical watch. It's about the ticking of the like 6 beats per second and all of that, the feel.
Correct.
I think it's kind of like that, like mechanical versus like a digital technology kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
I think you had a really good analogy there. You cannot compare an Omega Seamaster 300M to some Casio, watches or an Apple Watch. I think that's a more apt comparison.
Exactly. And those will be more accurate any day of the week, any day.
No, that's a good point. But yeah, that's where electric cars are, and they are the future. They are the quartz watch of the moment, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but it's
the desirable quartz watch, let's say.
Yeah. Did you see or rather read about the Rivian IPO?
No, not quite.
Yeah, so there is this car company who everybody wants to be the next Tesla. It's called Rivian. A few friends of mine work there actually. And Rivian is building trucks, so not huge trucks, those lifestyle trucks, like a Tacoma or like a Tundra, something like that, but a performance electric version of these trucks. And they recently IPO'd, and their valuation at the moment is something like $85 billion, something like that. To give you some estimates, this is bigger than Ford, and this company has shipped less than 150 cars. So just think about the hype that electric...
Holy shit, man.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Exactly.
And I think... So this is gonna be what, a Cybertruck competitor when Cybertruck eventually comes out, or
no? So
where would it stand?
It will be a Cybertruck competitor, but it's a totally different market. So there is this lifestyle trucking market in the US. So what you do is you take your truck, right? You put some camp, you put some tent on the back of it. You take some steak, you pack some beer, whatever, and then you take it on a trail. You park it there. And then you just hang out, you hang out with your friends, you have fun, you hunt, whatever. So this is called like overlanding. I'm oversimplifying it because I'm not part of this lifestyle, but that's what it seems like. And this is what these
Yeah.
people are targeting. So it is very off-road capable, so it can go anywhere. But it's also kind of a good day-to-day truck. You can use it, to go to the mall. You can use it to visit your mom, stuff like that. But then on the
You
weekends,
can be the go-to guy.
right? And
You can be the go-to guy to, move anything to any party or anything like that, like you used to say before.
exactly. But the shocking thing is they have shipped only 150 cars, and their valuation is bigger than Ford, which ships millions of cars a year all around the world. Insane.
Dude, that is crazy. I think it's because these new companies are more like tech companies, less of a conventional auto company, maybe it's like that.
No, it's definitely like that. I mean, Tesla's valuation is $1 trillion now. GM's valuation or Ford's valuation is, I think, is like 80 billion. Tesla is $1 trillion. That is insane. I mean,
Insane, man.
That is insane. Growing up, India's economy, the entire country's economy was about $1 trillion when we were growing up. So to put that in perspective, that is now one company, Tesla, which is just mind-blowing. And that's why,
Exactly.
Elon Musk is the richest man in the world.
Yeah, and pretty much the Tony Stark
Yeah, exactly.
of the world.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's also another company called Lucid. So Lucid, I think I'm not sure if it's an American company or a Chinese company. It's so hard to keep track of it these days. But Lucid is coming up with a new car called the Air, Lucid Air, I believe. And this car is supposed to do 500 miles range on a single charge. And it's also supposed to be more of a luxury car. So it reminds you more of a European luxury car. And that's another car that's entering the US market. But it's going to be crazy expensive. It's like $85,000 or something like that.
Yeah. And 500 mile range, dude. At that point, it is like done. As in, I think even your car is more than sufficient for miles, right? I think it's 350 miles or something.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? With electric cars, the 350 mile quote depends on temperature, basically. It's very temperature sensitive. So currently in the winter, I'm not getting 350 miles. I get more like 295, 300 miles range on a single charge, which is still pretty kick-ass, still pretty good.
Dude, that's still all the way to Goa.
Yeah, true. I mean,
if it was in India, so.
Yeah, but see, dude, the thing is, in the US, distances are pretty large too. So
True
a
that.
300-mile car is a good week car. All throughout the week, typically you'll ride about, maybe not that much. Maybe actually I only ride 150, 200 miles. So I don't have to think about charging ever. So whenever I'm at work, I go in Monday and Friday. So I usually get a full charge on Monday and Friday. So I never think about charging. I'm always, I always have some charge in my car regardless of what time it is, which is pretty convenient.
And you can see it on the app and all of that. So that comes with the whole connected car and all of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty convenient.
Oh, yeah. And then when I need a quick charge, I can always hop onto the supercharger, which is amazing. So supercharger will charge my car from, say, 20% to, let's say, 90% in approximately 25-30 minutes. And if you reduce that, if you want to only go to 80%, only takes 20 minutes. So the higher you charge your battery, the longer it takes. And then if you go to 100%, probably takes like 45 minutes. So,
dude, that's pretty much the time it takes for you to, park your car into a fuel area and, go inside and get some snacks or, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it literally 20 minutes, dude, is nothing. And even the 300, so you were saying, right, the distances in US are like larger and between like stops, for example, if you're going on a highway and all. But if you have supercharger network everywhere, then even that should not be a problem at all, right? Even if you say wanted to go to California.
Oh, yeah.
So you could do it, right?
Oh, easily. The supercharger network, the Tesla supercharger network in the US is amazing. So when you compare it to any other supercharger network, which is like DC fast charging on Electrify America or whatever other brands, I don't know about them. But the Tesla superchargers are perfectly placed on all like US highways, like freeways. And they go coast to coast, east to west, north to south, pretty much everywhere. So I've had zero problems. I went from Detroit, Michigan, all the way to Baltimore on the east coast. And the experience was exactly the same as driving a gas car. So when I had to stop, the car actually didn't need to stop. So what I'm saying is the car needed to stop less than
You
I
had to stop. Yeah.
Bec-
The human is the issue there.
Right, exactly. Because the moment
Which is good enough for us.
exactly.
Then, right?
I mean, if you drive 300 miles, you probably want to take a piss somewhere. You probably want to relax for a minute anyway. So
True, man.
yeah,
I think it's a non-issue at this point, right?
at least in the US with Tesla. Everybody else is going to have an issue, but we'll see.
Right.
And you were telling me
And I think, yeah.
I was just saying, like, you were telling me the other day that this stuff is coming to India now as well, right? Not Tesla, but somebody else.
Yeah, so the car makers, the popular car makers, like say Tata, for example, like Tata is making really great cars these days, really safe, good cars. They handle well, all of that. So for Tata, even they have been coming out with EV models for their popular cars, and that is really awesome to see a mainstream manufacturer like Tata take such initiatives. So it will take a huge amount of time in India for the entire infrastructure and all to come, because of course there is no standardized central standard for all these chargers and all of that. At least I'm not aware of, at least in India, and there is no Tesla yet. So there are reports of, I think that, or I'm not sure if they have started selling, but I know that they are testing Tesla on Indian roads as we speak right now. So the testing has started already.
Yeah.
And so the scene in India, I think, is more like the EV scene is, I think, exploding more for scooters rather than cars.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. See, the thing about the Indian market is it's super cost sensitive. So the moment somebody can make a scooter or a car that costs less to run than a normal gas powered car, it's game over for gas powered cars. Nobody cares about the feeling or experience of gas. Nobody cares about it. Has to be cheap. That's it.
Exactly. And I think as long as so this happened with diesel, right? This trend in India happened with diesel like maybe a decade ago, where everyone wanted to buy diesel cars because they ran cheaper. Okay, like the diesel was cheaper, and with newer technologies they were easier to maintain as well, unlike older diesel cars. So with just a lakh or so rupee more over the petrol version, people were buying the diesel version, man. It did not matter if they sounded bad, it did not matter if the performance wasn't as crisp. People still bought it. And with electric, none of those disadvantages are gonna be there, right? It's gonna run fast, it's gonna run clean, it's gonna have shit ton of torque. And if India can manage the charging station network, man, dude, I think it's gonna take off. And the scooter market has surprisingly been taking off really well, like with Ather and a lot of brands like Ola, for example, coming in for the commuter scooter segment.
Right.
Dude, that is really, really taking off.
You had some friend of yours buy electric scooter, right? You were telling me about what scooter was that?
Yeah, so there's a brand called Ather. I think it's from Hyderabad or Bangalore. I'm not sure exactly. So they have been, they are basically like the Tesla of Indian scooters. Okay, so they were the ones who first made it cool. So we have had electric scooters since we were children, right?
Yeah.
But they were all really dumb 25 kilometers per hour type of scooters.
Yeah, I don't think
Whereas
it's the same
Ather
thing.
was, yeah, the Ather was the first scooter, I think, that really, really made it look cool. And then when I rode it the other day, the latest Ather 450X or something like that, the 2021 model, dude, that is such a fantastic feeling scooter. It handled well. It pulled crazy until like 65-70 kmph, which I had never experienced that before.
So
And
I just Googled it. I had no idea what the scooter looked like. I'd never Googled it before. This looks like a Honda Dio copy, man, from the old days,
Oh, yeah. It has some of the elements of that.
Yeah.
They do have LED DRLs everywhere now, so it looks really cool in person. But the overall scooter has a really nice silhouette. If you remember, even Dio had really good design, right? For back in the day.
Oh yeah.
It was a pretty modern looking scooter.
Right. And this is pretty good, man. They've done a really good job. They have these LEDs on, I don't know if it's LEDs, but it looks like LEDs.
Yep, it's all LED lighting, but
nice.
that's not the important thing, right? The important thing, like the overall, the way the interface is, the way they have managed the power, the way. So it has, I think, a mode called warp mode.
Okay.
And I think it should be something like the ludicrous mode, like something similar, analogous to that. And again, what that does is like it crazy amount of torque it delivers. It like dumps all of that from the start, and dude, it just thrusts you ahead like crazy.
That's
It
awesome.
feels like riding a 200cc internal combustion engine motorcycle, which is crazy, man.
Yeah, that's
For
why.
a scooter that is supposed to be in like a 125cc segment.
Yeah, but where are people charging this? I see a picture of this scooter plugged in into something that says Ether or something. So maybe it's a proprietary port or what's going on.
Yeah, so as with many things in India, these things happen post, right? So the infrastructure, people are just putting like a charger in their parkings where they park their scooters.
Okay.
So if you have a parking, then you're good. If you don't, then you're screwed, basically. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
But if you have a parking, then you can have the plug in your parking, and those are usually the slower chargers.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, Ather, at least, I've not seen the other brands, but Ather at least has the a really dense enough network, at least in the area I live in.
Okay.
And dude, in like just maybe 3 kilometer radius, it has like 6 to 7 stations.
Oh wow.
And on the app, it shows you which ones are being used, which ones are like which ones you can go in and use, and all of that. And it supports that whole fast charging mechanism where like
nice.
10 minutes charge is 10 kilometers range or something like that.
Yeah, that's the move.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, that's the move. The moment you have DC fast charging, it becomes basically the same as a gas car. Especially for a scooter, 10 minutes is probably going to be more than enough. It probably gives them 70, 80 miles of range, 100 kilometers, something like that. I don't know. I have not looked at the numbers. But this is an interesting development. And I think another really important side effect for super crowded Indian cities is it's going to be clean. There will be no pollution. So currently, if you go in Pune, right, and if you drive your scooter around, oh God, you're going to have a really bad time with pollution. It's everywhere, to the point where when I go back home, I actually find it quite irritating now, just dealing with the pollution. But if these scooters become cheaper, everybody's going to buy them, and
Definitely,
once everybody
man.
buys them, the cities are automatically going to clean up. That's it. We don't have some industries polluting the city. It's mostly vehicles.
Exactly, man. Especially if you're like out during say 8 p.m, 7:30, 8 p.m, when the offices are like over at the end of the shift, basically.
Yeah.
Then everyone is crowding the streets, right? And if you're like stuck in a traffic jam in such a scenario, dude, the pollution is literally visible.
Right.
So
exactly.
maybe the other times it's okay, like in the morning it's okay, in the rest of the day it's okay. But if you're stuck in a traffic jam in the evening, dude, you can visibly see the pollution, man. It is crazy.
Yeah.
And this will definitely help in that.
Oh, it's
If
going to be
everyone
awesome.
runs electric, it will be all silent and it will be much cleaner.
Yeah. See, the thing about the Indian market is I hate using this term, but it's true. There is a lot of sheep mentality going on. So you remember when people picked on WhatsApp, nobody used to use WhatsApp. And then suddenly in about maybe a year, everybody was on WhatsApp. Everybody. So the same thing might happen to electric scooters. So there might be a situation for like 2, 3, 5 years even, nobody's buying them. But there might be some pivotal moment that suddenly everybody starts adopting it, and suddenly the old thing just dies away in India. It does not exist anymore. So I think
and I think the scooter market has a huge like part to play in that, especially because scooters people in India usually replace every say 10 years.
Right.
So it's not like an investment which they make, and maybe 5 to 10 years people are usually switching their commute scooters, right? Because they're using it daily.
Right.
So this trend, and I can see it already happening, man. It has already started. I can see so many EVs parked in parkings right now. You won't believe it. So I can see it maybe in just 2 or 3 years time, say 30 to 40% of all vehicles, all scooters rather, will be EV, which is crazy.
That will be insane, because currently the electric market share, even with Tesla and everybody, is less than 3%. So 40, if somebody captures 40%, that's a $1 trillion company again. So make sure to invest.
But then there won't be one company, right? It's India. So there's already, I can like have like 4 or 5 companies I can think of just right now. So it's already crowded.
Yeah, that's what we want. I mean, competition is good.
Competition is good for us.
Yeah. For the consumer, that is what you want. And in fact, that is also true of places like the US, right, where Tesla is the primary electric car, but companies like Rivian, Lucid, all these companies, we want that competition here. So it brings costs down for everybody. Consumers are happier. At the end of the day, you get a better, cheaper
So
product.
win for us, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's win for these companies as well, right? Because it pushes them to keep innovating and keep lowering their costs and being better at the processes.
Yeah, that is the idea of the free market, right? So I'm a very free market capitalist. So anyway.
Yep.
But the thing, so the unspoken thing about electric cars, I just wanted to, we were discussing this the other day, is China. And dude, I read this book recently, totally unrelated, but something worth mentioning here, about a Congolese immigrant who had to quit home, and then somehow he made it to France, I believe. And then he wrote a book and so on. And his struggles were absolutely insane. And the reason I brought that up is because Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is an incredibly poor name for that country because it is completely 100% a dictatorship.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you that. Is it even democratic?
Oh,
I was just going to ask you that.
It's not even close. It's a 100% dictatorship. So, and they have one of the worst dictators in the world, hands down. But they call it...
That reminds me of that Aladdin, that I don't remember the Dictator. Yeah, the movie name was Dictator, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Seen
I've
that
seen
movie?
that one. Yeah. Dude, that was an awesome movie.
Yeah,
But
something like that.
Yeah. But the thing is, Congo has 60% of the world's cobalt. And cobalt is an incredibly important mineral from an electric car standpoint. 60%. That's not a joke. 60% of the world's supply sits there. So... the tragedy is that the country is completely it's completely broke, and they're sitting on something even more valuable than gold in the next few years, which blows my mind. So there is that problem, and China has invested a lot of money in Congo over the last 10 years to invest in cobalt mines. So they want to control the cobalt supply chain. So they want to make sure that they own it, they control it, it is shipped to China. It's absolutely terrifying for the rest of the world.
It's a master plan, man, for China. As in they sort out this so early, right? I think they did the right moves, they played the right cards, and they literally are controlling it, you were saying, right?
Oh, they control it, completely control it. And it's very unethical too, because Congo has a huge problem of child labor, modern day slavery, all these things. But these things are overlooked at the moment. And the Chinese government supports a lot of companies directly or indirectly that are involved in mining from these mines. So it's a very problematic situation that's going to get worse as electric cars get more traction. So that I see
with
that
China,
and
with China controlling all of that, I don't see it becoming less ethical or more friendly to the labor and stuff like that anytime soon.
Oh, definitely not. It's going to become worse. So, there are some other initiatives, like Tesla is trying to switch to nickel instead of cobalt for these reasons alone. And there's some other technologies that people are investigating, but it creates the same problem, if Tesla switches to nickel, somebody has to use cobalt, because cobalt is just flat out better from an electric car standpoint. So somebody is going to be using it. And when I say somebody, it's going to be Chinese car companies. And so that means that their technology will be better, generally speaking. Their cars will be cheaper, and they will go longer on single charges. And they will also last longer. So it's a very difficult situation for the world that's coming up, and with no solution in sight.
There were few developments you were saying, right? But so what is the issue with those? Are they not stable, or are they not creating enough energy for the density, or how does it work?
Well, I don't understand battery chemistry, so let's just say that. But it's very complicated, right? So battery chemistry, to try and understand battery chemistry, we'll have to go to some chemist, we'll have to interview him here. But the way I understand it is, it comes down to two things. So one is the ability to hold charge when you're not driving the car, right? So the car is sitting in my parking lot, right? And let's say my car is charged to 80%. How long will that 80% last before that charge starts dropping down? So that's one thing. And the second thing is, how long can you go on a single charge, right? And with that, there are other factors, right? So how fast can you charge your battery? How safe is your battery? How warm does it get? How long it will last? How many charge cycles will it last? Can you do a deep cycle on it, right? So can you go from 0% to
Right.
100% every day? All of these things are influenced by battery chemistry. And at the moment, our batteries are okay. They're not great. So you cannot charge these batteries to 100% every day, like the Tesla Model 3 batteries, because they will actually wear the battery out. So the recommended charge is 80 or 90% for your daily use, and then 100% for long commutes.
So you can like set it up to charge only till 90 and then stop, or
Yeah,
you have to
exactly.
like manually.
No, you don't have to
stop
do
it.
anything manually. You can set your charge limit to 80% on your app, and then it will stop charging when it hits 80%. So,
But then all of these batteries are cobalt based, you're saying, right? As in they have a cobalt component. How many percent, how much percent component is cobalt?
I have no
Is it,
idea
like, huge
if
quantities?
cobalt is even used in the Model 3 battery. Let's look it up actually while we are here.
Because then, so how much does Tesla right now rely on, these cobalt batteries and Congo and China and all of that?
Let's see. So, there it is. So, Tesla to use Business Insider article. So, it looks like they are using some cobalt, because the headline says Tesla is nixing one of the most controversial metals from Model 3 battery production. So, they are switching to some other batteries now. So, which is a cobalt-free battery. So, which probably means that the current batteries are using cobalt. So
that means they might have fixed something, right? They might have figured something out if they are really switching, and if like the headlining features and all of that, the range, everything is like all the parameters you spoke about a few minutes ago. If all of those are fine, then have they figured it out already, or is just something other than
so I don't
Congo,
know,
but something equally worse?
So I think what's happening is Tesla is switching to, and this is just me reading in the background here, but looks like Tesla is switching the standard range cars to a cobalt-free battery. So it says lithium iron phosphate chemistry, so there is no cobalt in it, instead of nickel cobalt aluminium, which is in its longer range cars. So let's see, right? So what's the common thing here? None of the minerals are common. Interesting. There's lithium iron phosphate and nickel cobalt aluminium. I don't know if there's still lithium there. But
And PB,
yeah.
you were saying something about not using rare earth materials as well, right? So any updates on those researches? Like, where is the world in that regard?
Yeah,
right now?
so this LFP chemistry, right? So lithium iron phosphate, there's a lot of lithium in the world. So although lithium is considered quote unquote rare earth material, if you look at the amount of lithium we have in the world, it's enough. It's not a super rare earth material. So in my opinion, and I don't know if this is scientifically true or not, but a lithium iron phosphate battery is actually, in my opinion, is not
Better.
using rare earth materials. So which is what Tesla seems to be switching to for standard range cars. And if I'm correct, I think you can charge these batteries to 100% every day also. These LFP
The lithium
batteries.
ones.
Yeah, the lithium iron phosphate ones, yeah. So I'm sure,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I'm sure like in the next few years, we're going to see some crazy like innovation on battery technology. Humans are
for sure.
amazing, yeah.
For sure, man. I think so many companies are investing in it, and like you said, there are competitors to even Tesla, right? Like the startups that are getting like a lot of attention and a lot of talent and all of that. I think it's only a matter of time before, as in I'm hoping that it's a matter of time before someone figures it out to use very common materials that many countries have. It's clean to produce and has good battery statistics.
Yeah, I certainly hope so, because otherwise electric cars will never take off. So we need some innovation in this space to have longer, faster charging batteries. But yeah, I can't wait for electric cars to be everywhere. Personally, I'm very excited about this. I find it to be one of the best innovations in the last decade. With that said, I am sad about our fancy 63 AMG type cars going away. But
no, bro,
yeah.
I am really sad.
Yeah,
I am really, really sad.
Yeah.
But the electric cars are the future, and I think they are exciting, man. The way they accelerate, I think it is really epic.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a different experience that you cannot really capture on video. You cannot really capture on audio. You have to experience how those cars move before.
The G-force.
Yeah, just the sheer the sheer laglessness of it, right? I was trying to look for a word. There is no lag. The moment you hit your, gas pedal or gas, right, quote unquote gas pedal, your car just moves. There is no gas, right?
People like the new generation, like maybe 20-30 years down the line, you're like sitting next to some young guy and you're like, dude, hit the gas pedal.
Yeah.
He'll be like, what are you talking about?
What gas?
What gas? What? Grandpa, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I think by that time, Elon Musk will have figured out a way to connect the electric car directly to our brain using Neuralink. So there will be...
I hope he just gives it like self-driving and not do all that shit, man,
Yeah.
dude.
That's true. That's true. Hopefully self-driving is solved by then, but who knows?
I wonder, bro, if the self-driving thing will be ever solved in India.
So the self-driving thing will ever be solved anywhere remains to be a big mystery. So I've worked in this space for a long time. Incredibly hard problem. We are getting closer. Every year we get a little bit closer, but
But you do get closer considering that you have all the lanes marked, all the cars are behaving appropriately, like properly, and all of that, right? As in, of course, it has edge cases and all, but if in India it had to work through that, dude, just think about all the variables that are there when you're riding on the street.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So in India, every drive cycle will be a different edge case. So there will be no nominal
Exactly.
cases. You only have to deal with edge cases. So every scenario will
that
be
is-
different. So, and I mean, to be fair, driving in India, even human intelligence is not enough sometimes. You'll still crash. So,
Oh, really, man. If you can drive in Pune, then you can drive literally anywhere else in the world.
yeah. Or, just take the bus. It might be easier to do that in India. So,
Not in Pune.
not in Pune, yeah. And I hate the bus. So I never take the bus.
So exactly.
So that's more, relevant. We're never going to use the bus. Fuck the bus. So
Yeah, we are getting metros though now, so that
Yeah,
will be awesome.
that's cool for other people, But I still like the autonomy of having...
PB's like, I still take my Tesla.
Bro, even if it's not a Tesla, that feeling, right? Like having your own bike, having your own car that goes wherever you want, independently.
sure, man.
I hate
For
public
sure.
transport. So
Dude, any day of the week, man. Any day of the week. The only thing is if the public transport is like really efficient and I have to go really far for commuting daily, and the schedule is good for all these public transports and the last mile connectivity is good, then I might think of taking public transport some days of the week, especially if it's metro and all. But dude, I exactly know what you're saying, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we have lived in Pune for all these years, right? All of them have been having their own, like we all had our own vehicles, right? We rarely used public transport.
True. Okay, I think with this we can wrap this one up. If if people like it, we'll do one more EV follow up in the future or something like that. Or even if people don't like it, who cares? We'll do one anyway. So
Yeah, man.
So you want to call
it's
it?
awesome. It's awesome that we are getting like people listening to our podcast now and they're telling us about it. Dude, we really appreciate it, man. It's so awesome that people are listening to it. So
Exactly. So use offer code Combustible Brains for 0% discount, but that is subject to change in the future.
no sponsors. We are
sponsors.
just kidding.
We want sponsors. So if sponsors are listening, we want your money, to be clear.
Why not?
Yeah, we want
Why not?
all your
Why
money
not?
actually. And the more the better.
Exactly. True, man.
And we'll talk about whatever you want. If you give us a sponsorship of say $100 million, we can talk about whatever horse shit whatever you want.
$100 million.
Yeah, if somebody's giving us $100 million, I'm willing to talk about...
Yeah. We can talk about dog shit.
Yeah, we can talk about Taylor Swift's new album called Red, whatever. 100 million, I'll do it, So why not? Why not?
Yeah, I'll have to listen to Taylor Swift first, but yeah, why not?
Yeah, neither have I. Nobody listens to her. But, we will talk about it. I will listen to her and talk about it for $100 million. So if Spotify is listening,
Yeah.
now you know. Okay, so
Cool, man.
cool. With this, let's wrap it up. And
Yep.
until next
All
time,
right. Talk to you guys. Bye.
see you guys.